Jumping jacks, tax, got my taxes jumping. Now my bag coming with that major money. Dripping blessings, just might buy a house for my mama. Bad credit, don't even sweat it, cause they'll repair it, ain't no question. They can do it, it's a major movement.
What's up, y'all? It's Prince Donnell, the pastor of business and also the founder of Jumping Jack Tax, and you're officially listening to $1 Million Life Lessons, also the Man Cave edition. And I'm here with my right-hand man, the man with the cam.
Ron Van Dam.
And we ready to get right into it, man. Van, look, I'm coming in like the baby, straight on the intro. Don't even let the beat drop. I just want to get straight into it. For a lot of y'all who did not hear the last podcast episode, I really think y'all should, because we talked about the difference between eyesight versus mindsight. And we hit so many different topics, bro, that it was crazy. Y'all got to hear that episode. That was fire. And all the previous episodes of that. So please plug in. And by the way, for those of you that are listening to this and you're like, yo, Don, you know, I'm listening to all the podcasts. I want to do something with my life. I want to start a business. I want to have some sort of system, a foundation set up. Well, look, I always got to plug in Jumping Jack Tax. So if you ever thinking about going into a business, my best suggestion would be a need-based business. What is a need-based business? Something that everybody needs. Everybody that you walk past each and every day, they need your service. Everybody's your potential customer. With that said, taxes is a need-based business. Everybody needs their taxes done. Why not get them done by you? Learn the skill. With that said, Jumping Jack Tax provides you with that. So if you are interested in learning the skill, learning a need so that you can start generating revenue for yourself, go to jumpingjacktaxes.com, watch my hour-long presentation breaking down the company. And from there, if interested, you can fill out an application and somebody from my team will get back to you. But it's important that we have skill sets established as men to be able to feed our family. I'm done. That's enough with the drop. I want to go ahead and get straight into it. Man, I was just talking to you before we started rolling the cameras about how we subject ourselves to statements. And we're exposed to statements at a younger age. And even now, between ages of 20 up to 30, as men, we subject ourselves to statements that diminish our confidence, that makes us believe we can't be great, and that there's a cap to our success, or certain things are only supposed to happen at certain times because for somebody else, it didn't work out that way.
Yeah.
And I've just been hearing so many statements lately that I don't agree with, simply because my philosophy, right, my mindset has changed in me believing that I can do anything. So when somebody provides me with a statement that puts any type of cap on what I can do, I got a problem with. And I've been hearing them lately, and I want to go ahead and hit these. I want to get these head on, right? And I know for a lot of the men listening to this, you heard statements before that you would sit and think and say, yo, why would somebody say that to me? Or that really messed with my character, that really messed with my confidence, that really didn't make me feel good. It made me believe that, like, I won't be able to be great. And I'm telling you now, for those men listening to this, that is a complete and utter lie. It's a complete and utter lie. And I'm going to hit every single one of those today, and I'm going in on y'all. And before we get into that, I just want to say this. A lot of people been hitting my DM and saying, Don, why are you so confident? Don, why do you feel like you're the greatest? Sometimes it comes off as arrogance a little bit, Don, in your videos. Well, guess what? The reason why I'm so confident is because I fully believe, my philosophy is that I can be as great as I possibly want to be. And there's no age, there's no time, there's no degree, there's nothing possible that's going to stop me from getting to the place to where I want to be at in life. And I reject every single statement that's against my philosophy of being great. If those statements are any type of wall that says that there's a time period to get there, that says there's going to be some level of difficulty, or that it's not possible before me because I don't have this or I don't have that, I reject every single statement. The only statements that I say to myself that keeps me confident are positive statements that are going to take me high. That's it. And I only cloud my mind and my philosophy with positive and great statements. That's why I'm so confident. That's why I believe that I can achieve the world. That's why I believe I can change the world. That's why I believe that I can be a billionaire before the age of 30. That's why I believe that I can have a company that's going to take over the country. That's why I believe those things. Because my mindset is only filled with statements that are positive, statements that are with my philosophy and not against my philosophy. And I remove every single person from my life that is trying to give me statements that I do not agree with.
Yeah, and I think for people to further understand that, they really do have to listen to the last podcast because you actually took them through a journey of what you did.
Definitely.
From 18 to now.
Definitely.
And what you were actually feeding your mind.
Definitely. So for all the men listening to this, let's start this off. Please, if you want to be confident, if you want to lead a company, a team, your family, only listen to the statements that match your philosophy of greatness. If you want to be Michael Jordan, if you want to be Leonidas, if you want to be Mike Tyson, if you want to be the greatest people, Floyd Mayweather, whomever you want to be for that matter, you can be that great. But the only way to do that is to trick your philosophy into believing that you're already that great and to reject every single statement that goes against that. And that's the reason why I'm confident right now. That's the reason why I walk with my head high, my chest out, and I feel like I own the entire block when I'm walking down the street. You know, my sister said that to me the other day. My little sister Joyce, she was like, Don, you walk a little different. Your swag is just like, she's like, I don't know what it is. I've never seen a guy walk like you before. I'm like, what do I walk like? She said, you just walk like you own the block. I said, because I do. I said, you may not know it yet, but I already know that my name is on that property. I do, actually. And listen, I have it already. It's just that the properties and the deeds didn't catch up to me yet, but I already got it. Those type of philosophies are what win. And I'm not talking about loser mentality. Now, those who subject themselves to loser mentality, this type of conversation is not for you. You're probably going to say, yeah, but there is a time period in order to get there. Yeah, but I do need to do this to get that. Yeah, I need to look, all of that stuff you're saying, that's probably right in your mind, in your world. But in mine, that doesn't exist. In mine, I can achieve things. I can be as great as I want to be. There's no time limit. There's no degree. There's no certificate. There's no nothing that can stop me from getting to where I want to be in life. And if you're a man, I'm telling you now, please stand on that foundation and reject anybody that tells you otherwise. It's your world. Everybody else is just living in it. And when you understand that concept, that it's your world and everybody else is living in it, and that if anybody tries to make you believe any otherwise or trying to manipulate your mind outside of what you believe, then get that removed. That's entitlement, right? You're not entitled to tell me how I should think or how I should believe. Look, let me tell you, I'm just giving y'all some advice right now. You could just say, Don, you crazy as hell. I'm not listening to nothing you have to say. It's your world. Everybody else is just living in it. You brought me into your world by allowing me to speak to you right now. But you could cut me off right now if you say, I don't agree with it. That's great. But do the same exact thing when it comes to your mindset. It's so important. And that's the reason why I'm confident. With that said, I want to talk about the statements that people make that go against our greatness as men. That's what I want to talk about today, Van.
So do you want to start with the story of how this actually came about?
I do.
All right.
I do. So, again, I believe that there are certain statements that people make that can diminish our confidence, diminish our thought process, diminish our big dreams of becoming great in our crafts as men. And people make certain statements that hinder our abilities because of their own beliefs and because they are not confident enough in themselves. And because of that, we end up getting stuck because we fed into their philosophy of losing, right? Because that's simply what it is. It's only winners and losers. There is no draw. Okay. So how do I get to that point? Well, I was driving earlier today. I had to go to, where did I have to go? I had to go up to New Jersey, and I had to meet somebody there, an event planner. After I ended up meeting the event planner in New Jersey, I was driving back into Philadelphia, and I'm heading down the street. I'm at a red light, okay? I just got my car washed yesterday. For those who don't know, I drive a Maserati. Beautiful vehicle. Always wanted one. And nice and clean. Guy walks across the street, him and his friend, older guy too. He probably was in his 50s. His friend probably looked like he was in his late 40s. And he walks across the street, gives me the thumbs up. People do that all the time. Yo, great car, great car. And I'm like, thanks, appreciate you. I always show love. Yo, appreciate it, good looking. He was like, yeah, man, love your car. And I said, thanks. He said, I just want to tell you something though. You can't, you can't take it with you though, bro. You can't take it with you. And then he hit me with I've never seen a U-Haul behind a hearse. And then his man was like, ooh, like he dropped a crazy bar, like Denzel Washington ain't say that on one of his videos. You know what I'm saying? Denzel Washington said that, but I let him rock. I ain't telling him nothing. I'm like, you know what I said to him? I said, solid, you're 100% right. I can't take this with me. Can't put a U-Haul in the hearse. He said, so just make sure, just know that. And I said, well, thanks. And he was like, nice car. And he walked off and I just kept driving. The green light hit. I feel good while I'm driving too. Like, well, cool. Now, here's where I got the issue with the statement, you can't take it with you and you can't put a U-Haul behind the hearse. Here's my issue with that statement. The originality of that statement when Denzel Washington said it was in the context of don't praise the material possessions that you have and think about those material things so much that you forget about the things that actually matter in your life, which is family, which is time, love, happiness. That's what he was talking about. You can't take none of this stuff with you, so there's no reason to worship or praise it. You need to focus on the things that actually matter. That was the originality of that term. Am I right?
Yeah.
And I wholeheartedly agree with that. Now, my issue is that there are people who took that term and manipulated it, and they use the term can't take it with you and you can't put a U-Haul behind a hearse in the sense of what that guy said to me. He uses that statement as an excuse for his lack of. He specifically uses that statement as an excuse of since he didn't work hard enough, he wasn't able to achieve the material possessions in his life. So now he lives by that statement to make himself feel better about the fact that he could not achieve it because he didn't put the work in. So he sleeps better at night knowing that, since I can't take it with me, then I really don't want it. That's a lie. My issue with that is, and why we have to be mindful of people saying those type of things to us like that, because again, it's all within context. The guy said it in a condescending context. Denzel said it in a real heartfelt way. He's a rich man. So he got everything. He said it in a way where we knew exactly what he meant. The other guy that said it to me in a way that was, the reason why you got to be mindful of a statement like that is because as a man, as we're continuing to grow, as we're continuing to achieve, and especially as younger men, we want to go get, we want the world, right? You want the world, right?
Yeah.
You want to be the very best in your craft. And by being the very best in your craft, by you being the best, the byproduct of being the best is what? Financial freedom. The byproduct of that is financial freedom. You're one of the best. So what comes with financial freedom? The nice house if you want it, a nice car if you want it, funds in your bank, go travel if you would like, right? All of those things are the byproduct because you're able to utilize your money in whichever way that you please. But it's because you want to achieve the world. And every single person, I wouldn't say every person, but I'll go as far to say that at one point of time, every person had desires of having nice things. Am I right or wrong?
Yeah, I would agree.
Every person. And somebody who says that they never had that desire is a very peculiar and perplexed individual. And I don't desire to understand them. We live in the United States of America. Everybody sees a nice car and says, damn, that's a nice car. I wouldn't mind driving that. If you say you don't, then you're lying to yourself, right? So with that said, that statement can be dangerous for us younger men because we'll take that and say, oh, you know what? Let me just slow down. You know what? Let me slow down. I don't got to put the nice house on my vision board. I don't got to put the vacation on my vision board. I don't got to put the taking care of my family on my vision board. I don't got to put college tuition paid for on my vision. I shouldn't do all of that because I can't take none of it with me. So let me just slow down. Let me not be as hype about this vision to really run through a brick wall for it because I want to achieve everything, right? Wrong. We got to go get it. And I'm only talking to winners right now. I ain't talking to losers, right? I'm not talking losers. I'm talking about winners. Winners, we got to go get it. The reason why we stay and we work for 18, 19 hours a day, I don't work 18 hours a day for my health. Do you? No. We work 18 hours a day because we see a vision of a better life for ourselves and our families. We see the vision of pulling up into that nice crib where the gates open. We got mad land. We pulling up and it's like 10 bedrooms. You got your whole family in there. You like, damn, I made it. Right?
Yeah.
That's the, especially with us coming from the hood. Of course. I want to be able to say, yo, mom, look here, boom, here you go. Take that joint. Or whoever your family member is. We all have desires of doing something like that. We desire to tell our kids yes and not no. Am I right?
Yeah.
We desire to be able to tell our wife, yo, look, honey, look, whatever you need. Even if you don't want to work no more, sweetheart, look, go ahead. Take it off if you would like. We desire to do that. So using that statement can infect our mindset into believing that we should not go as hard as we want because you can't take it with you. No, I don't praise the material possessions. I don't praise the material possessions, but don't get it mistaken. It definitely motivates me. It definitely motivates me. Who wouldn't be motivated by driving around with a Rolls Royce with stars on your ceiling? Who wouldn't be motivated by that? I seen a couple dudes buy it, and I'm like, damn, that thing is nice. I want that one day, right? Damn, dude work hard. I gotta go get that. Who wouldn't? So all the men, this is the first statement. Do not subject yourself to that type of, if somebody says it in the context that is not Denzel Washington's context, because he's a rich man who already has everything, and he said it in a totally different context than that man said it that saw me driving in that vehicle. If somebody that's one of your loser friends or family members that don't got nothing going on for their lives, they literally are just, they literally getting by only because they don't work hard, right? Because they don't take anything serious with their lives, and they chose to live the life that they live. Do not listen to that statement. Can't take it with you. You can't put a U-Haul behind a hearse, because really all that they're trying to do is basically say to you, why you got that? Well, you think you better than everybody because you got that now? Oh, you can't, you can't take that with you, right? You're right. I can't take it with you, but I'm gonna be able to give this to my kids. So I'm glad. And let me tell you this before I end this off. That whole even statement of you can't take it with you, you're 100% right. Let me tell you a little bit about financial literacy. I don't really talk too much about that, but let me tell you a little thing about you can't take it with you and you can't put a U-Haul behind the hearse. Let me tell you, anybody who knows a little thing about generational wealth, they know a little thing about a will, they know a little thing about transferring your assets to your heirs. They know that that line goes very, very, but so far. Everything that you work for, Van, right now, everything that I work for right now, when we get to the age to where we're about to die, guess what? All of those assets that I can't take with me, yes, my children will be able to take with them. Their children are going to be able to take with them, and we're going to be passing this stuff down. So technically, you're right, I can't take it with me, because at a certain point in time, I'm transferring generational wealth to my kids. And they need something to be able to survive. So I just don't agree with the statement. And we just got to be very mindful of it, because it can infect us into believing that we should not be great. And I don't agree.
I agree with that. So we was actually talking about some other statements. We were kind of thinking about what was said to us as we were growing up. And the crazy thing is, after you think about it, we listen to these people because these are the people that, may been around our block, the same old heads that we see all the time. So you kind of like look towards them for advice, you know what I mean? And something that we used to hear all the time, especially to the old heads that wasn't married or was married, got divorced, is, yo, don't get married. Don't get married too soon. Yeah, there's plenty of fish in the sea. And they usually tell you that when you actually discussing issues with the one that you so in love with.
Bro, you know how many times I heard the statement from old heads that said, yeah, bro, marriage don't last. Yeah, don't get married too soon, bro, because... And they weren't saying it, they weren't saying it in a loving manner, like, let me help you out. They were saying it in a condescending, I hate this woman, I don't ever want to see her in my life type. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's how they were saying it.
Scarred.
Within context. They were scarred. They said, this is the worst decision I ever made in my life. I'm never getting married again. So, bro, please be careful. That's what they were saying. Do you know how damaging that is for us as men to hear statements like that in our younger years, especially when we're trying to build a family, when we're trying to open up emotionally, when we have a woman that we love and care about, and now you just told me don't get married too soon when I had intentions on my mind of possibly proposing to this girl and wanting to live my life, and now I'm nervous as hell. So for the ladies that's listening to this right now, just know a lot of times we hear information from old heads that say don't get married, or they scare the hell out of us of putting a ring on your finger because they're making it seem as if it's the worst mistake we could possibly make. And how many times did you hear that statement, man?
Too many.
I heard it many times. And I actually asked old heads, yo, you was married before? Yeah, I was married before. Man, let me tell you, that's exactly how they start. Dog, that's not cool. And that's another statement that can be so like damaging to us emotionally. We got to be mindful of that. Yo, getting married at a younger age was probably one of the best decisions I've ever made in my life. One of the best decisions I've ever made in my life. I don't even know where I would be without my wife. That's my partner. That's my business partner. That's my life partner. That's my best friend. That's somebody that I can talk to, I can confide to. That's somebody who has my back. I wouldn't have been able to even build to be the man that I am today without her. Of course, my mother, but then my wife is right here, and she built like, dude, it's like, that's my secret weapon. And I told people this on many occasions. I mean, I don't hide that. It's my secret weapon. It keeps me grounded. It keeps me disciplined. It keeps me determined. It keeps me wanting to chase down every single thing that I possibly can because I need to feed my family. It gives me purpose, right? It gives me a reason to go out here and work this hard to build Jumping Jack Tax to be the greatest company in the world. I'm doing that because of my wife, my family. That's why it gave me purpose. If it wasn't for that, let me tell you, if I was 26 years old right now in the same position that I'm currently in, and I wasn't married, I don't even think I would even want to know what type of dude that I would be right now. When they talk about the term savage, before I met her, a lot of women that probably watched this video, they know who I was. I wasn't a good guy. I was definitely the dude that hit and dashed. You feel me? I was that guy. So now you talking about with more access at 26? Man. So I don't even want to know. I probably would have damaged a lot of women. And honestly, I may not even have, I know I would not have been where I am today. I know I would not have. Not at this level. I would have been somewhere, but not at this level.
Too many distractions.
Too many distractions, bro. So I would not have been able to get here because my mind is just turning so many different places. Oh, shorty over there, shorty over there. Yo, we about to go out. We about to go to the club. I'm about to pop some bottles. I'm about to head down to Miami. I'm about to meet little shorty down in Atlanta. I'm about to fly out to LA. I'm about to, yo, what you doing tonight? Yo, so much. But now I ain't got a damn thing to do other than just chill here with my lady and focus on my business. That's it, bro. I ain't got nothing else to do and rock out with my team. That's it. But if not, I'll be in a bad space. And I understand what some of the old heads are saying too. You know, I get it, old head. You had a bad experience. You had a bad experience. But with that bad experience, you cannot give that type of advice to younger brothers like us and not provide no context to that and just give us that type of statement, and we supposed to digest that and just take it anyway. If you're going to give us game, give us real game on what we could have done, what you could have done better as a husband to make sure that don't get married too soon is not actually a statement. That's what you could have done.
Yeah, or even like preparing for it. Like, sorry, I just got to shout out Donald Gibson. You know what I mean? Just preparing for it.
Like
you know what I mean?
Donald Gibson said, like, yo, do you have a what did he call it? Do you have a list of all the things that you're looking for in your wife that's going to fit in your life?
Yeah, making that family plan.
Do you got a family plan, right? Do you have that, right? Your wife is your co-founder. What are you going to be doing as the co-founder? What is your wife going to be doing as the co-founder? What is your kids going to be doing? How's this going to be set up? How's that going to be set up? Do you have a plan established so that before y'all even combine together as an entity, y'all know what y'all are supposed to be doing? Basically, it's like when you started, like, this is going to take me somewhere else. When you start an LLC, right? For those on those limited liability company, when you start an LLC, the LLC comes with an operating agreement. You know what an operating agreement does? It ensures that the members of the LLC are treating each other fairly and operating in accordance of the rules so that the business relationship can work out. Hey, if you want to do any transfers, or if somebody wants to withdraw from the business, if somebody wants to transfer, then here's what needs to happen here. Hey, when it comes to distributions of your LLC on the profits, here's what needs to happen there. It puts people in rules to ensure that the relationship don't go sour. That's what the operating agreement is for. For the members of the LLC. And normally, as long as everybody's following them, we ain't got no problems. So when we look at that as men, we got to be mindful that before we engage in a partnership with a woman, you got an operating agreement set up. Look, shorty, here go the operating agreement. Here's how we need to operate in order for us to coincide and for our partnership to work out. Because it ain't just a relationship, it ain't just marriage, partnership, right? Here's what we got to do in order for this partnership to work out. Let's talk about it. What are some of the things that you like? What are some of the things that I like? What are some of the things we don't like? If this issue were to arise, can we go back to the operating agreement and say, oh, if this issue were to arise, here's what you do. That's what an operating agreement is supposed to do. Hey, the operation manual says that if I do this, this needs to happen, that needs to happen. So let's operate on this manual right here. This is what it said. This is what it's for. It's to protect the both of us from ourselves. Because at times we all get selfish. At times we all lose our way. At times it's like, I don't even want to talk to you right now. I'm about to do my own thing. That happens. But when you get back to the operations manual, when y'all slowly start drifting away, the operations manual bring y'all back. Operation manual bring back. You get what I'm saying? Look, go back to that. So with that being said, back to my point, the statement of don't get married too soon. Yeah, bro, be careful in marriage. All BS. Nonsense statements. There's not an age limit to when you should be getting married. I don't even believe that there's an age limit to it because everybody's mentality is different. There's people who are so far mentally ahead of everybody at the age of 21 years old. And then they've met their soulmate already. They know that it works out for them. You know, they may not know the future when they're 40 years old. Of course, they could be changed at 40. But again, you can start, do you not start an LLC at 21 years old because you don't know where you're going to be at 40? No, I'm going to start the LLC at 21 and then I'm going to deal with it when I'm 40 because the operations agreement, I can amend the operations agreement as I continue to grow with this LLC. Sometimes what I originally put there is not going to be the same when I'm 40, 10 years from now, 15 years from now, because the company needs to operate differently. Same thing here. So I think that's a BS statement. And I say this to all of the brothers, please reject every single time that you hear something like that. If the brother that's giving you that information is not sitting here telling you, hey, look, if you are going to get married young, here are some of the things that I suggest. What I suggest is that you go to premarital counseling. What I suggest is that you continue to talk to some more experienced people that are married right now. What I suggest is that y'all put in the framework and the foundation before y'all finally do that to really make sure y'all compatible and that y'all ready for marriage. Do you see how different that statement is? I just want to make sure y'all are ready. So here's some of the things you can do. Not don't get married too young. What the hell kind of statement is that? So personally, I reject every single statement of somebody who says something to me like that. That's not my experience. And I'll never subject myself to those type of statements. And I don't think any brother listening to this should as well. So if you got a lady that you love, that you care about, let me just tell you this, exactly what I just told you. Go to premarital counseling. Whoever, whether it be your pastor or your mentor, whomever it is that does premarital counseling, go through that. I'm pretty sure that they'll ask you some very challenging questions that are going to help you to understand if you're ready. And they'll let you know if you're ready, right? Go to premarital counseling. Create your operations manual. Make sure that it fits them and that y'all are on the same level. You know, talk to some other experienced people who have been married before. And if all of those things start to check out, even right now at your age of 24, 25, 26, 22, if all of those things check out and y'all on that same level, then I don't see why it would even be an issue. Because what else are you going to do and how long do you wait? Because that's the second part that the statement don't match to me. They don't never give you a date of when. Oh, you don't get married too young. Well, when should I do it then? 35? Or I don't know. When? It's not a time. It never will be. It's based on maturity, right? It's based on compatibility. Are y'all ready for this? And I reject that statement. All my brothers reject it too. And I just say that's the second thing that I don't agree with either.
All right. The last statement that we were actually discussing too is about struggling in your 20s, where the time you actually start building your career and a lot of dreams get shut down because people, you know, they want you to actually, I guess you would call it play it safe. You know, go to school. Don't no, not even to even downplay anybody. Like even like your rap career, your NBA career, it's still always go to school. Just have a backup safety plan, or because if you do that, you know you're going to struggle in your 20s. You're supposed to you know intern for like 3-4 years. Build it up. No matter what it's going to be, you're not going to make it in your 20s. Maybe when you're 30, 40, that's going to happen. But in your 20s, you can already cross that off the list. You're doing pretty all right. 26.
Let me tell you something, man. The statement that I hear a lot of people make that says, yeah, you're going to be broke in your 20s, or you're not going to make a lot of money in your 20s, or, you know, in your 20s, it's not really going to work out for you like that. Nonsense statements that I reject out of my life, that I do not believe in. And I don't think that any brother that's under the age of 30 years old right now should even think or even accept that type of statement into their lives. Do you know, hearing that statement, yo, you ain't going to make money in your 20s, you're not going to do this in your 20s, that's basically telling me that I can't be great until I'm in my 30s or in my 40s. That's basically telling me if I have a great idea in my 20s, I'm not going to be able to scale it to the right direction while I'm at a younger age. You're not going to be able to make it, bro. Just play it safe, like you said, in your 20s. Play it safe because the odds are against you. Nonsense. Why was it that Mark Zuckerberg was able to make $1 billion at 23? What is the difference between Mark Zuckerberg and me? What's the difference between Mark Zuckerberg and you? What's the difference between Mark Zuckerberg and anybody listening to this right now? Do you think he subjected himself to, yeah, you're not going to make a lot of money in your 20s? I know that man didn't, because he built one of the greatest companies ever that made $1 billion at the age of 20-something years old. I think that type of statement is irresponsible. I think that as younger men in our 20s, we can do whatever we think that we can do if we put in the discipline and the work ethic that's required to do it. Dude, I didn't subject myself to that mindset. I'm 26 years old right now, and Jumpin' Jack Tax generated over $1 million in revenue. I would say that I don't agree with that statement in any way, shape, or form. Why? Because of the fact that I put in the work. I got discipline. And not to mention, I didn't do the things that I wanted. I did the things that I needed to do. Right? Yeah, you could, if you want to do the things that you want, absolutely. Doing the things that you want are definitely going to keep you, in a very slow and losing mentality. Doing the things that you need, right? And I talk about need-based businesses all the time. Doing the things that you need, needs of your community. You strategically find a way to provide a need to your community. I promise you, if you do that and you learn that skill and you start putting that skill out into the market, you're going to start generating money right away. Right away. Whatever that need may be. So for me, hearing those statements from people is literally, it's kind of degrading, to be honest with you, for me, for my level of confidence. when somebody says something like that to me, I look at them like they crazy. Like, oh, just because you didn't make money in your 20s, don't say none of that to me, because me and you are not the same. Me and you not the same. Maybe I think way bigger than you. Maybe I work 10 times harder than you. Maybe you was only up for 8 hours and I was up for 18. So our results are going to be different. That's like telling an Olympian, somebody who's going to the Olympics, yeah, you're not going to win against such and such because you're just a little too young right now. Excuse me? I work way too hard. And like you said, I don't like when people try to make us take the safe route. Yeah, bro, don't right now you're in your 20s, bro. You're in your building phases right now. Don't get you to go to school, go to school, make sure you get that education right. Make sure you got the foundation set up, go ahead and get your job, and get your 401k set up, for retirement and retire at 65. Yeah, bro, make sure you have that background and everything set up, because the things that you're doing right now is real risky. It's real risky, bro. Again, and I ain't got nothing against people like, listen.
And if you realize those statements usually come from people who still haven't achieved their own dreams.
Exactly. And that's the point of this entire podcast, is that the statements that we listen to normally come from people who have not achieved their own dreams, their own goals, or their experiences are not lining up with yours. So now they're projecting bad energy onto you. And with your mindset, you have to be mindful of your philosophy and what you believe in, and reject those type of statements that are against you being great. Imagine somebody telling Michael Jordan that he couldn't win 6 championships, and him coming into the league that he wasn't going to be able to be rookie of the year, MVP, all within the early ages of 20, because Magic was in the league, because these people was in the league. Yeah, bro, you're going to have to wait your turn. Do you think he believed that? Well, we know he didn't.
Yeah.
So my thing is, if you want to be MJ, then go be MJ. And don't listen to anything that anybody got to say about the fact that there's a time limit to when you're supposed to be successful. Now, sure, are the odds against you? Yes, but the odds are against you in everything that you do. The odds are against you becoming an entrepreneur. There's a 97% chance that you're going to lose. The odds are against you every time you step out of the house. There's a high chance that you get hit by a car, that you get into a car accident, that anything can happen. Right now, there's a high chance you could possibly get COVID. There's a high chance you get fired from your job. There's a high chance that you could come down with health problems. Yo, the chances are high in everything that you possibly do. So I don't care about the BS of statistics and percentages. At the end of the day, it starts with your philosophy. Do you believe that you can be great no matter what age that you currently are? I believed it, and I still believe it to this day. And I believe that I could be a billionaire, have $1 billion company before the age of 30. I believe that. And those beliefs are going to line up to the actions that are going to create to allow me to get closer to that goal. And I don't give a damn what nobody say about the fact that you're going to be broke in your 20s. Look, that's your experience, bro. Don't bring none of that on to me. None of that on to me. Right? Like, so me, I don't agree with that statement in any way, shape, or form. I don't. I think that if you're in your 20s right now, the best advice that I could possibly give you, and I'm only telling you advice based on what I am currently doing. The best advice I could possibly give you is start a need-based business. Start something that is a need in your community. Learn the skill, whether it be taxes, insurance, real estate, HVAC, electricity. There's so many different needs out here that the community needs. Learn that skill, learn that need, allow that to generate you revenue right away. You can start building a customer base fast. You can start building that customer base. If you want to do the things that you want to do, of course it's going to be hard for you. That's my perspective on it. And I think that any man that's in his 20s right now can achieve greatness. You could be a multi-millionaire, you could be a billionaire, you can achieve whatever it is that you want out of life, man. And you got to believe that from a philosophy standpoint. I reject anything that says that I cannot be that just because of my age. How does that even make sense? Really, how does that even make sense?
It doesn't.
Like, somebody give me a mathematical equation on how my age makes sense to how much dollars that I actually generate.
And it's so crazy because you really do hear it. Like, and I'm just thinking back in the day where, even girls say like, oh yeah, I'm gonna be married by 30 and have kids by, 35 and have my whole family. Like, the way they are perceiving how to, grow up and actually raise their family and find their husband. And then once they get to that 30 age, they start to feel some type of way because they're not there yet. You know what I mean? So it just diminishes their confidence and even, going to go find a husband or, they behave differently. I see it all the time. And it's crazy because men do the same thing. Men, if they don't hit that goal at a certain age, it's the whole mindset starts to change.
Yep. I'm going to tell you something to end this off. I'm going to tell you what Jim Rohn told me. Jim Rohn is one of the greatest speakers ever. And I was listening to him this morning, and he said, the reason why you currently are where you are is because your philosophy is broken. Philosophy affects everything that you do. Your philosophy is what you believe in. It's the overall foundation of your life. It's what you believe in. And where does your philosophy start? Your philosophy starts from your parents, which are the first people that you're around all the time. And if they got a broken mindset, you already started off with a bad philosophy. If their mindset is broken, if their financial situation isn't good, they don't know enough about financial literacy, credit, saving, insurance, stocks, bonds. They don't know about all of that type of stuff. Your philosophy is already broken to begin with because they're not instilling the right philosophy in you around financial literacy, right? So you already started off there where subliminally your philosophy was already being molded. And then after your family, guess who comes next after your parents? Who the next people that's in line as soon as you turn 5 years old?
Friends.
Not just your friends, the school system, AKA the government, where they have a certain curriculum established to teach you a set of philosophies. That's the reason why the very first time that you start in school, what's the first thing they tell you to do? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic in which we stand, one nation under God. Why do you think they do that every single morning when you are a child? Because they're building a philosophy that you need to pledge allegiance to what?
United States.
Exactly. They instill the philosophy inside of you. And then they also are instilling whatever philosophy of history that they've learned. That's the reason why it's always an issue when it comes to Black history, right? Because the philosophy that you're learning in the history books is their philosophy, right? The European philosophy that came around those times when they founded the United States of America. So now you're learning that philosophy. And then since your parents are not instilling a different philosophy into you as an African American, now you're learning the philosophy inside of the school system and everything that they're teaching you. And then their philosophy is, hey, start here in school, go all the way up to grade 12 and then go to college. And then you're learning that philosophy for how many years? 12 years? So now your philosophy is that when you're in 12th grade, you're pretty much pressured to have to go to college, and you pressure yourself simply because you're fighting against your own philosophy that was taught to you over the course of 12 years. The foundation that you have from your family not having any financial literacy, so you're lost there, you're stuck, you don't have an understanding. So you bought into the philosophy of the school system, which told you need to go all the way through it and you need to go to college, you got to get this and do that. Not to say that that's right or wrong. It's a philosophy though. And then you end up going to college and you learn even more of a philosophy there. So the thing is, everybody's learning these principles. They're learning these disciplines over the course of their lives. And those disciplines control who you are as a human being. But if you never learn a different set of principles or philosophies that can help to improve your life or to start thinking for yourself, then you're always going to subject yourself to what the world is going to give you. You always will. If you subject yourself to negative philosophies, negative statements that are said about you, negative statements that people are saying to you as advice because they are dealing with their own demons, then when you buy into those philosophies, you begin to live that way. You begin to think that way. And your results ultimately come from that. Right? So you got to be mindful of the philosophy that you have, right? Write down all the things that you believe in. What are the principles that you believe in? right? And I want you to start writing all of those down. And I want you to ask yourself, when you read all of those principles and statements, I want you to write down every statement that you heard from the time that you were young all the way up until now, good and bad. And I want you to read them all, write them all down. I want you to read them to yourself. And I want you to ask yourself, which set of philosophies do you believe in? Because all of them you were exposed to. Now it's time for you to decide which ones do you believe in. If you don't intentionally decide which ones you believe in, all of them are going to potentially control who you are as a person. Right? So if your parents had bad credit card, bad spending habits, bad budgeting, bad credit card debt, bad credit, right? They had to go to buy here, pay here to get their cars because they had high interest rates. They didn't have savings accounts set up. They didn't teach you anything about savings accounts. They didn't teach you anything about CDs, stocks, different asset producing revenues, right? If they didn't teach you about dividends and royalties and IPs and LLCs. If they didn't teach you all of those things, then they taught you another set of philosophy that has nothing to do with building generational wealth. So ultimately, subconsciously, you're going to operate in that manner. So you have to now switch that. You got to switch it, turn it. And how do you do that? How do you switch it? How do you turn it? You turn that by now literally drowning your mind with greatness. What do I do every single morning? And anybody that's in my car in the morning, they will let you know I'm always listening to something that is of success or positivity, or one of the greats that are giving a speech on how they've gotten to the places they currently are today. And I'm always getting self-development. Why? Because I'm constantly growing my philosophy, right? Philosophy of success, philosophy of financial freedom, philosophy of peace, philosophy of generational wealth, philosophy of financial literacy, philosophy of, those are the things that I want to build as my foundation. And I reject anything else outside of that. And it's the reason why I'm at the place that I am currently today. So the entire point of this podcast was to be mindful of the statements that could affect your life, because you give power to those statements and they become truer than ever, actually. They become truer than ever, like they're on your chest. It's you. So be mindful.
Yeah, so on that note, I do want to end it off with a verse from the good book, Proverbs 18:21. Death and life are in the power of the tongue, and those who love it and indulge in it will eat its fruit and bear the consequences of their words. So speak your success into existence.
That's deep. That's deep. Speak your success into existence. Van just dropped his wisdom gems on y'all. And with that said, y'all know where we at with it, man. If you got any questions that you want to ask us, man, anything that you want us to touch on, feel free to DM me, Prince Donnell, and or DM Ron Van Dam. He'll probably see it faster than me. And we'll go ahead and touch on it. We'll talk about it. We're going to keep hitting y'all with gems, man. Keep changing your thought process, right? Because rather than me talk about the strategies of entrepreneurship, I'd rather talk about the thought process that leads to great success, overall success in your life. And I believe that when you change your mindset, the byproduct of a changed mindset is success in whatever path that you're in. That's what I believe. I don't care to give y'all strategies anymore, because there's no sense in giving you entrepreneur or financial freedom strategies when I know that 90% of people are not going to do it, even when the information is in front of them. And the reason why 90% is not going to do it, although the information is in front of them, is because the 90% is dealing with a broken philosophy. So if I can change your philosophy, if I can change the way that you think about yourself, the way you think about the world, your confidence level, if I can change that, then the byproduct is going to be action and success in whatever category that you plan to attack. That's the goal here. That's the goal of what we want to do here over these next few podcasts and moving forward from here. And I promise you'll receive value from it if you decide to take the steps to change your philosophy. With that said, it's your boy Prince Donnell, also the pastor of business, and the CEO and founder of Jumping Jack Tax. And I'm here with my right hand man, the man with the cam,
Ron Van Dam.
And We had an amazing podcast talking about the philosophies and the statements that you agree to. I encourage y'all to go out there, go fight, change your philosophy, change your mind. With that said, appreciate y'all. Have an amazing day. Peace.
Got my taxes jumping, now my bag coming with that major money. Dripping blessings, that might buy a house for my mama. Bad credit, don't even sweat it, cause they'll repair it, ain't no question. They can do it, it's a major.